The Power of Perception. Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. And I'm sure you all catch the trend. But in 2016, I was just as surprised as you when I saw this come up on the television, and I knew nothing about either of these people. And I'm like, seeing how other people reacted really made me dive into the world of politics. And so I came across, I guess, a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command, who was a person with a psychology degree with over 1 million followers, and sort of did a breakdown analysis of the election cycles, debates, and so forth. And that really informed the structure of the speech. And so from that, I was able to learn how Trump was able to not only be in the general elections, but win. And so he was able to use a variety of tactics, and it's like basically get your attention, much like this speech class. Then he was able to attack his opponents, and he was able to really just apply his own views to the narrative of the election. So, like I said, the first tactic was to gain attention, and he used this using outlandish claims and or bold statements. So what are some of these outlandish claims? Well, for starters, we have build a wall, okay? And this was really the pinnacle of his campaign. It was the really just what he built his campaign around. And so it was a visual representation of what Trump stood for. And it was almost like, when you compare that to something like Hillary Clinton's policies, introduce comprehensive immigration reform, eliminate immigration detention policies and centers, and support naturalization. And when you compare that to Trump's just build a wall statements, it almost comes off as not as important because it's not as clear what she is saying. So Trump was able to use the contrast in his claims and other political candidates' claims into sort of making a clear contrast of not only being like a more important candidate, but gaining our attention. His second tactic would be name calling, and while it might seem childish, it's extremely effective. And you see the debates. We have low energy Jeb, which completely destroyed Jeb Bush's campaign at president because it characterized how voters viewed a political candidate, right? So, most people's concerns about Jeb Bush were, he's a beta personality, and is he going to be strong enough to lead our country? Does he want to run for president, or is he just being pressured into doing it? And so Trump was able to use these names to characterize how we really think of, Jeb. And then there's Crooked Hillary, also able to characterize reinforce our views of Hillary Clinton. Of course, everybody knows about the email scandals. And so it reinforces, that she's this scandalous, and it characterizes how we view her as a scandalous, crooked person, and it was able to reinforce how, viewers and voters viewed other candidates, which greatly contrasted how we viewed Trump. And so now that we've been over both his ability to gain the attention of both Republican and Democratic voters, and how he was able to use that in the news coverage to sort of attack the opposition, he was finally able to define the narrative. And you see here, there's the Trump's reality show, and it's almost an iconic image that we have a reality TV star as president. When you look at, go on Trump's website, and you see just how geared he was towards being an outsider. And then you see other candidates playing Trump's game, where Hillary Clinton tries to be an outsider by being the first woman president. But since we've already been through the identity politics, it's almost comes off as false because compared to Trump, really nobody is an outsider. And, I'm sure you're all very tired and hungry, and so I should probably wrap this up. But, Trump was able to win with a variety of tactics, and whether it was from gaining our attention and running with the imagination of voters to characterizing how we view his opposition, he was able to, through and through, create the narrative of the election, and that is the power of perception.